Wudu, Wikipedia article audio. Wudu is the Islamic procedure for washing parts of the body, a type of ritual purification. Wudu involves washing the hands, mouth, nostrils, arms, head, and feet with water and is an important part of ritual purity in Islam. What activities require wudu? What rituals constitute it and what breaks or invalidates it are governed by fiqh and specifically its rules concerning hygiene. Wudu in other languages is Persian, or abdest or dast namaz Urdu / Allah lc, was, IPA, Turkish, abdest, Albanian, abdest, Bengali, Ozu, Indonesian, Wudu, Chechen, / Lamaz Akar, Bosnian, abdest, Kurdish, dest nawej, Somali, Wiso. Basis in Quran and Hadith. Water requirements. Wudu is typically done in preparation for formal prayers and also before handling and reading the Quran. Impurifying activities that invalidate wudu include urination, defecation, flatulence, deep sleep, and light bleeding. Wudu is often translated as partial ablution, as opposed to ghusl, washing the whole body, or tayammum, replacing water with sand or dust due to its scarcity, its harmful effect on the person or some other reason. Purification of the body and clothes is called tahara. The Quran says, "For God loves those who turn to Him constantly and He loves those who keep themselves pure and clean." In regard to Muslims being required to be clean when handling and reading the Quran says, "Which none shall touch but those who are clean." The Islamic prophet Muhammad said that cleanliness is half of faith. There are 4 fard acts. If one of these acts is omitted, it must be returned to and then the succeeding acts completed. There are other acts that are performed during wudu, and the detailed acts of the wudu can be classed into 3 types. Permitted water types. According to Sunni Muslims, the Quranic mandate for wudu comes in the 6th ayat of Surah 5. The ayat has been translated by Muhammad Muhsin Khan, Rashad Khalifa, Abdullah Yusuf Ali, Pickthal, and Maulana Muhammad Ali as follows. Note that these scholars' translation refer to washing the feet. O ye who believe! When ye prepare for prayer, wash your faces, and your hands to the elbows, rub your heads, and your feet to the ankles. If ye are in a state of ceremonial impurity, bathe your whole body. But if ye are ill, or on a journey, or one of you cometh from offices of nature, or ye have been in contact with women, and ye find no water, then take for yourselves clean sand or earth, and rub therewith your faces and hands. Allah doth not wish to place you in a difficulty, but to make you clean, and to complete His favor to you, that ye may be grateful. Prohibited water types. According to Shia Muslims, the Quranic mandate for wudu comes in the 6th ayat of Surah 5. The ayat has been translated by Muhammad Habib Shakir as follows. Note this scholar's translation refers to wiping the feet. O ye who believe! When ye prepare for prayer, wash your faces, and your hands to the elbows, rub your heads, and your feet to the ankles. If ye are in a state of ceremonial impurity, bathe your whole body. But if ye are ill, or on a journey, or one of you cometh from offices of nature, or ye have been in contact with women, and ye find no water, then take for yourselves clean sand or earth, and rub therewith your faces and hands. Allah doth not wish to place you in a difficulty, but to make you clean, and to complete His favor to you, that ye may be grateful. Sunnah Acts. Acts of Wudu. A handful of mustahab acts that are considered to make the wudu better. If one of these acts is omitted, the wudu is still considered valid. Fara'id according to Sunni Muslims. Muslims who are unable to perform the prevailing form of ablution, due to skin disease, a disability, or lack of clean water, etc., are recommended to perform tayammum, sometimes called dry ablution, using sand or dust instead of water. Such an alternative form of ritual purity may also be accepted in cases where one fears the acquisition of hypothermia in cold weather. Fara'id according to Shia Muslims. Sunni Muslims perform the following. Shia Muslims perform the following. Sunnah. Imam Ali and the other Imams have stated that there are mustahab, or recommended actions, to wudu, along with the above-mentioned method. These acts are recommended. Theoretically, one can perform one wudu for salat, and this wudu would be considered valid for the rest of the day. However, traditionally Muslims believe that certain acts invalidate the wudu, and these can be stated generically thus, although the Quran does not explain most of these. Tayammum is a dry ablution using clean soil or dust, to be performed when water is not readily available to perform ablution, or when one is defiled and could not perform ghusl, and is authorized under specific circumstances. Wudu. In Hadith, Abu Hurairah, in reference to the day of resurrection, reported that Muhammad, when asked if he would be able to recognize Muslims, said, "Yes, you would have a mark which other people will not have. You would come to me with a white blaze on your foreheads and white marks on your feet because of the traces of ablution." Abu Hurairah said, "I have heard Prophet say, in a believer adornment would reach the places where ablution reaches." Mustahabat. Uthman ibn Affan stated that Muhammad said, "He who performed ablution well, his sins would come out from his body, even coming out from under his nails." Contentions. Umar ibn al-Khattab reported that Muhammad said, "No one among you does wudu, and does wudu thoroughly or adequately and then testifies, 'There is no God but Allah alone with no partner, and I testify that Muhammad is Allah's messenger,' without the 8 doors of the garden being opened to him so that he can enter by whichever of them he wishes." Reciting Bismillah, intention of performing wudu. Washing both the hands up to the wrists 3 times, rinsing the inner mouth 3 times, sniffing water and blowing it out 3 times, washing of face 3 times, washing of arms up to elbow 3 times, wet your hands with water, then starting from the front part of your hair rub it down to the back of your hair once, wipe both the ears once, wipe the nape with the back of your fingers, Hanafi, wash both feet 3 times, passing of wet fingers between fingers and toes, passing of wet fingers into the beard, brushing the teeth, preferably with a miswak. Wudu is done systematically, washing of each part one after the other without pause, so no part dries up before wudu is completed, washing each limb thrice, performing wudu towards the Qibla. Reciting the Shahada after the ablution, during wudu. One should not engage in worldly talk, choosing a clean place for ablution, not wasting water in ablution, starting from the right side and then the left. Performance. According to Sunni Muslims. According to Shia Muslims. Invalidation. Start by making niyyah to perform wudu, and cleanse the self of impurities. Recite Bismillah, wash the right hand up to the wrist 3 times, then similarly for the left hand. Next, some water should be taken in the right hand and sniffed into the nostrils thrice and then blown out. The left hand should be used for cleaning the nose. Rinse the mouth and spit out the water 3 times and rub the teeth with a miswak. If a miswak is not available, then one should use the finger. Wash the face. This is to be performed 3 times. Wash the entire right arm, including the hand, up to and including the elbow 3 times, then the left arm 3 times. Pass fingers of one hand between the fingers of the other hand. If wearing a ring, it should be moved freely to allow water to pass under it, then perform masa. Wet hands should be passed all over the head, then the first finger of the right and left hand should be moved in the right and left ears respectively, and in the same operation thumbs should be passed around the ears, then pass the backs of the hands over the hind part of the neck only. Hands should not be passed around the foreneck as it is prohibited. This is only done once. One may not make masa over a Muslim head cap. Starting with the right foot, wash both feet from the toes up to and including the ankles thrice. The little finger of the left hand should be passed between the toes of both the feet, beginning from the little toe of the right foot and ending with the little toe of the left foot. Recite the Shahada, offer 2 rak'at prayer, make sure all parts of body to be washed for wudu should completely be wet before the other is washed until the wudu is completed. Make the intention to perform wudu. In the heart, shape the right hand like a cup and take water into it. Then pour the water on the top of the forehead and wipe down with the right hand. It is obligatory to begin washing from the area where the hair of the head normally grows, then all the way to the chin. Shape the left hand like a cup and take water into it. Afterwards, pour this water onto your right forearm and wash your right forearm. Wipe from the elbow to the fingers and not from the fingers to the elbow. Repeat this process except with the left forearm. Without taking more water, wipe your hair from the middle down to the forehead, or vice versa, using the index finger of your right hand. It is must-ahab to use 3 fingers. If you are balding, you would wash your hair as if it were growing when you had a full head of hair. It is not permissible to wipe the hair over an obstacle. It is not obligatory to wipe the actual skin on the head. If, however, the hair isn't growing from the area you are wiping, then you must move the hair to where it belongs and wipe the skin. Without taking more water, wipe the top of your right foot with your right hand. You only wipe once and with a swiping motion. It is not permissible to wipe the shoe, sock, etc. You must always wipe the skin of the feet unless there is an extreme reason. Do the same thing, except using your left hand and wiping your left foot. According to Sunni Muslims too. According to Shia Muslims too. Tayammum. Wudu. Description in Hadith. Washing the hands twice, gargling the mouth 3 times, rinsing the nose 3 times, washing the face twice and the arms twice. It is not permissible to wipe the head and the feet twice, and that it is not permissible to wash the face and the arms 3 times.